Every day is a fresh start to live better, and Morning Glory breakfast cereal gives you more than a great start for the day ahead. It's fiber rich, so you'll stay fuller for longer. Made with whole grains, which are vital for our body's health and maintenance. Enriched with the right combination of minerals and vitamins, and available in our all natural molasses flavor. All from the golden rice fields of Guyana to prepare you for even the most challenging of days at work, school, or play. So savor the taste, enjoy the energy, and live healthy with Morning Glory breakfast cereal, developed and produced by the Institute of Applied Science and Technology without compromise to quality, and distributed by Ansa Trading Limited. For 7,000 years, Guyana's indigenous peoples have held the secret to healthy, beautiful skin. Introducing RUPUNUNI Essence, a luxury facial cleanser and skin nutrient made with all-natural restorative crabwood oil, moisturizing coconut oil, and a fresh scent of healing lemongrass. It's a powerful cleanser, makeup remover, and acne treatment all in one. RUPUNUNI Essence Deluxe Facial Cleanser, available at all cosmetic counters in stores and supermarkets across Guyana.
Good afternoon again, and welcome to another program of Conversations in States. I'm Malika Ramsey. Thank you so very much for joining us again this week. Of course, we got caught a little off guard there. It is great for you inviting us into your homes again, and I'm extremely happy about today's program because it's exactly 1 year since we began Conversations in State, and it's interesting, even though we did not plan this, we didn't purposely plan this, I happen to have the same person who was the first guest on Conversations in State, of course, because he has some more to tell you, much more to tell you about some of the developments since we last spoke. And for those of you who've been following us very committedly, the returning guest is the director of the Institute of Applied Science and Technology, Dr. Professor Suresh Narine. Welcome back to Conversations.
Thank you, Malika.
All right, great to have you. Of course, viewers, as you know, we would have started our program today with two advertisements that I know you're no stranger to those advertisements, and of course, we're very proud of those because both of the products advertised, both of the items advertised in those clips that we just showed you are produced by the IAST. And Dr. Narine, I know you're very, very proud of these two things. The last time we spoke, we were talking about the RUPUNUNI Essence. Now we have the Morning Glory. Let's talk about what IAST has been doing in the last year. And specifically, I want to begin with Morning Glory.
Sure, well, I'm always happy to talk about Morning Glory. Yeah. Morning Glory really is an example of what government can do to spur private sector activity and commercial activity. Okay. Malika, in Guyana, traditionally we have a very risk-averse manufacturing sector. Mm-hmm. And for many, many decades, rice, quality, wholesome rice that is produced here very effectively, very efficiently, very safely, has not found its way into value-added products. Now, the reasons for that could be very many, but the fact of the matter is we add very little value to our rice. About the most important value we add is to simply repackage it into smaller containers so that it's supermarket ready. Morning Glory is an example of what you can do to add value to our commodities at home. So if you take an equivalent amount of rice and compare it to the cost of an equivalent amount of cereal, there's a 20 times increase in that cost. Where does that cost go? It goes into salaries, it goes into raw materials, it goes into developing skills here. So that rather than exporting our commodities, I think more than just being the excellent product that it is, Morning Glory is an example of how value adding at home increases the value to Guyana citizens, to not only the direct economic impact, but also the enablement that it provides for our young people to think of doing more like this. Um, when a country exports commodities, it's usually a race to the bottom. That is, the lowest cost producer wins.
Yes.
This means that you're unable to sustain your agricultural labor at home. You're susceptible to boom and bust cycles in the external markets. And so whenever you are exporting commodities, you really have a very fragile hold on markets. Value adding at home allows you to address that. So the Morning Glory product is really just one example of what you can do by injecting technology into our commoditized agriculture. Um, this particular product on its own right is quite remarkable because it's produced using a state-of-the-art plant. The plant itself is entirely food-grade stainless steel, and it's about 120 foot long. The only time that human hands touch the material is when it's introduced into the system, and from there on it's entirely automated. So the plant is very clean, it meets all good manufacturing standards, and it's highly automated. So as you can see as well, it's really well packaged.
It is. And I'm happy that it's well packaged, and it really and truly is a lot to take in. You have said a lot. Not as in bringing in naysayers, but the fact is competition. We can't run from competition.
That's right.
And even way before Morning Glory, there were so many, of course, not homegrown, not Guyanese made, but there are so many other cereals on the market. Let's talk about what the IAST is doing or has done to ensure that the product can not only compete, but actually, because it's ours, sell more than the products that we import, similar products
Right.
that
And I think it's important to talk about this because the introduction of a new product into the marketplace is not a straight line. You aren't going to automatically, immediately take market share. It's as much a function of the quality of the product, its packaging, as much as it is also a function of the marketing efforts and the strategies for distribution. So we're entering into a marketplace which generally is not a cereal eating marketplace, of course, because Guyana, however, there is a definite volume of people here that eat cereal. And we're entering into a marketplace which generally is fairly crowded. So if you are to go to the shelves at a supermarket, you'd see perhaps a dozen different types of cereals.
Yeah.
Several of those would be benefiting from very mature businesses with net present value, which we don't have, with marketing budgets, which we tend to have very little of, and with brand names that have been around for a long time. So to have an invasive entrant such as this, we felt that the bar was raised very high, and we ensured that we can compete on nutrition. So spoonful for spoonful, Morning Glory will provide better nutrition than any of the brands on the shelves now. We did not feel we can only compete on patriotism. We had to compete on functionality. So nutritionally, this cereal is better for you than any of the others out there. Now, with respect to our competitors, of course, I won't name them. Secondly, the product is priced not at the lowest end of the spectrum because we're selling value. We're not selling a commoditized product, which is full of sugar. We're selling something that is very healthy both for adults and children. The third area that we have deliberately focused on is having very, very bright colors. And if you look at Morning Glory in the supermarkets, they will have pop-outs, etc., drawing attention to it. Then and only then do we appeal to the fact that it's made in Guyana. Because we felt that when you pick the cereal up, it should be as high a quality or better than anything that's produced anywhere else. So it must compete on its functionality, its price, its appearance, and then we, of course, are not going to ignore the fact that people will feel a significant amount of pride that
Pride,
this
yes.
is produced here.
This is ours, and and they will boast about it. As well.
Right.
The fact is, we can't because we have a limited time. We can't stay on Morning Glory because I know the IAST is doing a lot of other things. But just before we come off of this serial, and I frankly am very excited about it, and especially when I see the advertisement, I get very excited about it. What is the response like thus far? Have you been able to do whether it be surveys or polls and
Yes.
so on regarding the response?
We've been distributing widely. The product is in about 112 supermarkets across Guyana, which is great reach.
Yeah.
We're trying to now enter into the moms and pops, so the small grocery stores in the villages, etc. And that response is also tremendous. We've been very lucky in signing on Ansa McCall, who is a great distributor.
Yes.
But also, we've had a great response from a national school feeding program.
Ah, great.
So the cereal is used in the school feeding program. It's fed once a week, and we're told, and you could probably verify this at another show, but we're told that on cereal day, the kids are extremely excited. So what's remarkable, Malika, we've really only been commercially operating this plant since January, and our gross sales,
Yeah.
our gross 6 monthly sales, are already nearly $30 million.
Wow.
Now, I will not divulge in public television what our profit margin is, but it's very high. The plant itself, the capital investment of the plant was only $100 million. So we expect latter half sales to actually increase. But even if they stay stagnant, even if we only accomplish $60 million in sales, that would have been more than half of the capital investment. The return on investment currently at current market share that we have is about 25%, which really is a remarkable level of return. So it can only get better as we take more market share, as we expand into more institutions beyond just the school feeding program. And I know we don't want to spend a whole lot of time on this, but we're all already planning the launch of a second flavor of cereal, specifically targeted more at kids. It will be branded, with a cartoon character. I don't want to say a whole lot for children. And we're also going to be releasing a nutrition bar with Morning Glory. So we can increase the number of offerings and therefore hopefully increase the amount of employment we have. As it is, I should tell you that we've already been able to hire about 20 people in Region 2.
And this is because of the production of Morning Glory?
Directly from Morning Glory.
Directly from Morning Glory, okay,
Right.
Great.
So about 20 people, and we have about another 15 people seconded. But we have an active program of training people in Region 2, so that as those people are trained, the people I've seconded from the Institute can go back into creating new things. And so at full employment for one shift, we would expect to have about 35 people in one shift.
Great.
If we can take all of the market share that we're looking for, we should be able to get up to about 150 to 200 people employed.
Okay. All right.
And these are not at salaries, Malika, that are poor salaries. We've deliberately
Substantive.
paying very high salaries because we believe that agro-processing should sustain high salaries.
All right.
Right? So these are sought after jobs. For every job that we've advertised, we've received maybe 20 applications because they're good jobs.
Maybe I should probably switch my studies and see if I can apply. It indeed sounds enticing. Viewers, if you're now tuning in, today we're talking with the director of IAST, Professor Suresh Narine, and we're talking about the operations and so on and continued improvements at that institute. To come off of Morning Glory, I know this is not the only product that is coming from the IAST, apart from other products. And viewers, for those of you who are paying attention, you would see that there is and I know I can remember several ministers talking about this, the sun-dried tomato salad dressing. But apart from that, I know that you're doing other things. Let's talk about some of the other things that the IAST is doing.
Well, we entered into this phase. We had a latent phase at IAST where we were building expertise, training people, renewing our physical plant, ensuring we had all of the equipment to do this, at a level which is internationally competitive. And then around 2014, we went into a different gear and we started. So in 2015, 2016, 2017, we've launched a significant amount of commercial products.
Nice.
We're on that trend still. We're actually working on something tremendously exciting. Now, the Andes, the high Andes, are actually the home of about 500 varieties of potato. Our Pacaraima Mountains are the last edges of the Andean range. And in our Pacaraima Mountains and our high savannas, we grow something called purple sweet potato. It's actually so purple it looks black. And I don't know if you've ever had the drink fly.
No, I haven't.
There is an indigenous drink which is variously called fly or tonic. It's made from fermented purple potato. And we were curious, in addition to the alcoholic properties of it, which obviously is an allure, indigenous peoples will feed this to pregnant women, for example, who's just given birth, and sick people. We wanted to know why it's called tonic. So we looked into it, and it turns out the purple color is because these purple potatoes have a higher content of something called an anthocyanins than almost any other natural product in the world. Anthocyanins are important. They're purple in color, and there are about 4 really important ones. The most important anthocyanin is called cyanidin. Now, why is all of this important other than
I know
fancy
you're getting
sounding
to
words?
it. I'm waiting.
Cyanidin is extremely important for cardiac health.
Ah.
So it scavenges for plaque buildup, it lowers the blood pressure, it increases circulation. And the potatoes themselves also have a large amount of magnesium. They also have a large amount of fiber. So what we figured out is that when our native peoples make this drink out of purple potato, the drink itself is extremely beneficial to health.
So it's not only for the fun of it,
No.
for the
For your male
alcoholic-
viewers, it has
Yeah.
a tremendous effect on circulation, and we've done some testing now, where we've been able to measure the lowering of blood pressure. We've also been able to measure something interesting, that is, it also has a tremendous impact on erectile function disorder. So we are now, similar to what we did with Pacaraima Flavors, setting up a cooperative in Region 9 to grow the purple potatoes, pre-process them and dry them using a solar dryer. And we've developed several health drinks, perfectly nutritionally balanced health drinks, that will hit the market sometime in October for testing purposes. And we hope that by next year this can be full-scale commercial production. But at the same time, we're also trying to protect this with intellectual property. So this is a collaboration between the Ministry of Indigenous Peoples Affairs, Ministry of the Presidency through Minister of State, Social Protection and Social Cohesion. Because it has, of course, projects like these have multiple impacts. It impacts development, it impacts community health, it impacts, the commercial continuum, because these are all vertically integrated, and it impacts things like social issues that are born out of poverty or born out of a lack of finances.
Okay.
So having all of these ministries involved helps, because you've got staff, for example, in social protection that looks at cooperatives. So you can hand over those issues to the cooperatives people. You have staff in social cohesion that looks at issues of equity, so you could hand over. And so what has been remarkable about all these projects is actually getting so many disparate pieces of the puzzle together to work in a continuum.
Indeed, and that's what we keep promoting. cohesion and so on. I'm not sure if I missed this in anything that you said earlier, but with all of this that the IAST is doing, safety and food safety and so on is very important.
Absolutely.
Again, I'm not sure if I missed this, but is there a special program to ensure that the product, and I know that the IAST wouldn't put the nation in danger,
Yes, of course.
but is there a specific program, whether it be a person or a committee
Yes.
that are in charge, that is, I should say, in charge of overviewing
Absolutely.
safety?
So quality control and safety